In a time where people are more connected to each other now than ever, I still find myself being lonely and doing nothing. So many news articles talk about how people in Gen Z are just lonely, and it's kind of sad to hear and read about. How did we end up like this? Well, I can't speak for everyone, so I'll just tell my story. The story of how I ended up living a life of doing nothing, and in turn, how I became lonely. So, what does the day in the life of Reborn looks like? Well, depending on when you ask this question, there's many different answers. When I was attending school, life was pretty boring. Monday through Thursday is more or less the same. I wake up, get ready to go to school, attend 2 classes, and then come home. I talk to no one pretty much unless I have to, but it appears that most people don't talk to each other anyway. Friday through Sunday, I'm basically home all day. Okay, that's cool. So what do I do with that time? Well, nothing. When I'm home, I'm usually exhausted because my commute is 1 hour and 30 minutes going both ways. And I just come home and I'm just tired. And I don't want to do anything. So I just scroll on my phone. Scrolling on TikTok, scrolling Instagram, scrolling on Twitter, where I talk to my Twitter friends, and that's really it. Because it's weird to say, but outside of my online friends, I don't really have much real friends. And because of that, I don't really find myself wanting to do anything. That's basically how my life has been going for the last handful of years. You're probably asking yourself at this point in the video, well, Reborn, why don't you just go out? You live in New York City. And the answer to that is that you're right. I do live in New York City, and there's always something to do in New York City, so I shouldn't be bored, right? Well, there's 2, maybe 4 issues with that. You're probably wondering, well, why don't you actually do something, Reborn? And my answer to that question is, it's kind of complicated. Remember all that scrolling I was talking about earlier? Well, yeah, that's one of the complications. I call that empty time. I'm trying to fill that empty time doing nothing other than scrolling. An example of that would be something like playing video games. Sure, it's not exactly productive, but I think it's better than doing nothing, aka scrolling all day. But in the last couple of years, I find myself gaming less and less, despite there being so much games I want to play. It's like a part of me knows I shouldn't be doing this. And I'm not one of those people who's trying to say quit gaming, blah, blah, blah. But I'm saying that recently, I have more fun gaming after a period of doing something productive. Well, what about going out? I live in New York City, so there's bound to always be something to do, right? Well, yes, but I have 2, maybe 4 issues with that. 1, I believe I mentioned before I have social anxiety. So yeah, just going to an event seems out of my comfort zone, especially going by myself. My last video is about leaving my comfort zone, so maybe I'll try that sometime and make a video about that. 2, the reason I made this channel, I don't talk a lot. You might think that's the same issue as the first one, but not to me, because anxiety prevents me from even going out. But even if I didn't have anxiety and actually went out, I wouldn't initiate a conversation with someone. 3, this may be my anxiety talking, but I feel like people go to events with friends and not to make friends. So yeah, that's why I never really went out of my comfort zone to go to events by myself. That's not to say that I'm not exactly trying though. In the last year, during the summer, I will go into the city and explore areas I've never been to. And I've been having fun doing that, leaving my comfort zone just at my own pace. I'm not exactly sure where I want to go with this video next, so I'll talk about my ideal life and what it would look like. In my head, my ideal life is a life where I have a best friend who lives in the city, and we hang out a couple times a week, virtually and in person. We go to events together, watch movies together, go to parties occasionally, stuff like that. Outside of my best friend, I'll have a couple more friends, maybe 3 or 5, and we just all do stuff together. So yeah, at this stage of my life, I have mastered the art of doing nothing and being alone. But I'm tired of being bored and feeling lonely. And now I realize that no one's going to save me and just give me the ideal life that I just listed out. I have to go out there, leave my comfort zone, create and build that life brick by brick. Have I taken the steps to do that? Kind of, but I could definitely be doing more to find and connect with more people. And that's the journey I'm trying to outline with this channel and my life. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next video.